date and be like, no, we just did it like 2 days ago, so. Right. Yeah, it was everyone after that was like, oh yeah, that kind of checks out. I didn't think about that.
Insider. Insider.
These are good problems to have, right?
Very.
So much success that you have more than one.
Yeah.
Brave touchdown, Oregon.
Yeah.
Oregon leads.
What a great opportunity it is to be able to play at the University of Oregon.
I'm just incredibly proud to be a part of something like this.
She wants another three. Oh, 3 in a row. Oregon is headed to the Super Regional. Big Ten champions, your Oregon Ducks.
We are so privileged and so fortunate. We get to see all these young people. We get to see this incredible growth, which is what college is all about.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck Athletics.
Welcome into the Country Financial Studio. In the new year, it is 2025 here on Duck Insider, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Ryan Milano here with you, breaking down everything that went on in Oregon athletics over the 2 weeks that we had off. Some good, some not so good. We'll have to get into it all. But first, I would be remiss if I didn't wish that everybody had one tremendous break, got to spend time with your family over the holidays, got to have a very tremendous and happy New Year. Everybody watching this program, to me, you're part of our Oregon family, so I hope that you were surrounded by family over this holiday break and had a really fun time watching some Oregon athletics and just being surrounded by a lot of love, appreciation, and everything that goes with the end of December holiday season and the early January year here around the Oregon Athletic Department. I know that we sure had a lot of fun, a lot not so fun, but certainly still were able to spend some time and take some good few days off, which was certainly appreciated for everybody. While we were away, certainly some Oregon athletics were in action. A lot of men's basketball, a lot of women's basketball. We'll just do a quick rundown of the games that happened while we were away because there were a few of them. First day after we went off air, Oregon men's basketball played Stanford, got a win. Then that weekend, Oregon women's basketball, actually a week later, played Illinois. Tough team against Illinois, back and forth battle. Oregon dropped that one. Men's basketball against Weber State, that was a win. That was the last game at Matthew Arena, the last game for Oregon athletics in the 2024 year. Actually, the women's basketball game against Northwestern was where the Ducks went on the road and won against Northwestern. Wins against Weber State and Northwestern for men's and women's basketball. Got to 2025, it got off to a little bit of a rough start. The Rose Bowl, obviously, we'll break it down. We'll talk about it. Dan Lannon coming up later in the show today as he had his podium along with Dylan Gabriel, Jeffrey Bassa. We'll hear from some players today as well as throughout the rest of the week in post-game reactions to that Rose Bowl. Loss for Oregon, a 41-21 loss to Ohio State. Also coming up on the show later today, we'll have men's basketball breaking down a victory from yesterday over a very talented Maryland team in the start of what is going to be a gritty battle through conference play in the Big Ten. So after that Rose Bowl, the day after, Oregon men's basketball played Illinois, tough team. Ducks dropped it by a score of 109-77. Then we got off to 2025 in the right way. We just started 2025 on the 3rd of January. It would have been all good. And it was. After that, Oregon women's basketball got a win against a tough and talented Wisconsin team, 68-52. And then, as I mentioned, Oregon's win yesterday against Maryland, 83-79. So what's coming on the show today? Dan Lannon coming up in just a few moments in the podium right after the game. Dylan Gabriel, Jeffrey Bassa as well, talking with the media. We'll also hear from Terrence Ferguson on today's show, Bryce Boettcher on today's show. We'll hear from Dana Altman after the win for Oregon men's basketball against Maryland yesterday. Nate Biddle, Jackson Shellstad, who both had tremendous performances in a comeback effort and a late surge against the Terrapins in order to get Oregon men's basketball a big-time Big Ten conference home win on the Matthew Knight Arena floor. The first for Oregon at home in the Big Ten era on the men's basketball side of things. But first, we do have to talk about the Rose Bowl. We are breaking down the Rose Bowl. And first, I just want to say what a tremendous opportunity it was to for me personally to be at the Rose Bowl, but for Oregon itself to be at the Rose Bowl. Put it in perspective. It's the first time since the 2019 season, the 2020 Rose Bowl, where Oregon was able to be at that venue. Oregon's been a talented team. It's not just every year that you get to walk into the Rose Bowl and play. It's certainly not just every year you get to walk into the college football playoff and have an opportunity to play as well. Oregon had that opportunity. Oregon was 13-0 coming into the game. They left the game 13-1. Doesn't mean the season is defined by that moment. But we do still have to talk to Dan Lanning, Dillon Gabriel, Jeffrey Bossa, and what was a disappointing press conference, an opportunity for Oregon to advance into the Final Four, an opportunity for Oregon to continue their national championship hopes. Unfortunately came to a crash on January 1st, but postgame, Dan Lanning, Dillon Gabriel, Jeffrey Bossa, their reactions.
Yeah, before we get into the game, first off, just want to recognize the people in New Orleans and how we're thinking of them, praying for them. There's no place for that in this world, and disappointed to hear that happens. And the loss of life is always something that you don't want to take for granted. So I'm hoping for some solutions there. But getting into the game, they clicked tonight, we didn't, and I didn't get our team prepared. And that's a great team. When you play a great team like Ohio State, you can't not be clicking on all cylinders, and they were clicking on all cylinders. We didn't really have the ability to stop them and didn't have the ability to get something going for us on offense, and we haven't faced a lot of moments like that this year. It's an unbelievable team. Coach Day and his staff have done an unbelievable job there. Don't want to discredit what our players have been able to accomplish this year. We had a great team. We just ran into a great team tonight and we didn't play our best, so credit to those guys. I'll say this about our team, there wasn't a second we stepped on the field where I felt like our guys were disheartened. They didn't want to give the effort to go out there and play. I just don't think we had a good enough plan as coaches, tonight, and we got to find ways to prepare ourselves for these moments, better as a coaching staff. But I love that team. I love that team in there. I love what those guys were able to accomplish. And what's tough is when you play great teams at the end of the season, somebody's not going to come out on top. And those guys came out on top tonight. Obviously that's a team I think that has the ability to go win it all. So proud of our guys. Certainly proud of this season. And disappointed in the night. If you're a competitor, there's no way you're not going to be disappointed in the result tonight.
Your thoughts on just how the long layoff between games between now and the Big Ten championship game impacted the guys in terms of how the game started?
Yeah, I think that's an excuse. I thought our guys prepared well going in. Obviously, they had a better plan than us, but that's an excuse. That's an opportunity that we had to recharge. I thought our guys did practice well. I'd tell you if that wasn't the case. I thought they had great focus. I just don't think our plan was good enough, and I think they had a great plan to attack us, so credit to those guys.
You've obviously talked about the growth mindset a lot, talked about this game and maybe some of the things that didn't go right. What do you learn from this and maybe things that you need to adjust going forward?
Yeah, we got to be able to adjust a little bit faster, right? There were some things that we were able to get going at points, throughout the game. We didn't adjust fast enough, and it's tough when you play a team that doesn't have a lot of weaknesses, right? They got strengths, right? Their wideouts were creating a lot of success, down the field, and then their ability to run the ball, right, makes them a dangerous team. They didn't make mistakes in special teams. You need some of those things to bounce your way, and then, offensively, we struggled to get a first down, early on, and I thought Dillon did an unbelievable job there at the end of the half, creating a spark for our team. But a lot of those weren't natural plays. It wasn't like the first read was there. It was this guy, busting his tail, and guys like Trayshawn and the O-line fighting like crazy to extend plays and, create those moments. And we just didn't have enough of those moments tonight.
Thank you for Dillon. What were you hoping to do game plan-wise that they took away from you guys?
You plan to create explosives, be really good on situational football, and move the chains that way. We just didn't do that on third down, and they had a great plan, like Coach said. If you don't go get the third, then you can't move forward.
How was Ohio State able to execute differently offensively tonight versus when you played them the first time?
Well, I think they were able to find some shot opportunities. They caught us in a couple coverages that gave them the chance to have success. And you can decide, okay, we're going to try to pressure, and that's still going to leave some one-on-ones. But they got us in some situational checks, some stuff that was, successful. And they have great players, right? I mean, they have some guys out there that made plays, and you have to give those guys credit.
A lot of teams, they fall down 34-0, they, roll over. You guys didn't. You kept fighting. You scored in the next two possessions. What does that say about your team and kind of the mentality that they have?
Just that, if you give them a great plan, that they're going to have the chance to go out there and execute at a high level. And they got a lot of fight. Like I said, I thought our guys fought all night. There's probably even more opportunities where I could have given them a chance to fight, and I didn't do a great job of that. But those guys went out there and battled every second tonight.
Jeremiah Smith, so tough to stop. What didn't work with the game plan against him tonight?
Yeah, he's strong. He attacks the ball in the air as well as any receiver I've seen. I mean, the guy's NFL ready. He's that talented. He's very special. And, Will Howard did a great job of getting the ball to him tonight. And he's tough to defend. He's physical. He's got all the tools. So, really talented player.
How do you use this game as fuel for motivation, but at the same time know that this team went 13-0 prior to tonight?
We're probably not there yet. There's disappointment. But I talked to the team, about life in that locker room and how grateful I am for the opportunity to coach this team. I love these guys, and they put it all out on the field for us, blood, sweat, and tears. But, adversity happens in life. And we're going to get an opportunity, in life, to continue to attack and move forward. And I know there's a lot of winners in that room, right? And there's guys that are going to have a chance to go on in life and be great fathers and great husbands. I hope they saw those examples here on our team. They're going to be great business leaders. They're going to be great NFL players. And they gave their heart and soul for us. So to me, it's not about, getting knocked down. It's about when you get back up and what you do next.
Evan was such a weapon for you guys in the first matchup against Ohio State. Sounded like something happened pregame. Could you maybe elaborate a little bit on what happened with him and what did you miss most about not having him?
Yeah, he's a dynamic player. He's been great for us all year. Kind of got tweaked in pregame and had been able to practice, but had been somewhat limited. But we thought he was going to be, a potential go, and leaned on the side of protecting the player. In that situation, I think if you ask Evan, he want to be out there on the field, but you don't want to put him in a situation that it's not going to be safe for him. And he's certainly been a dynamic piece for us all year, and would have loved to have him out there for us. But grateful for what he's been able to do for us this season.
Dan, why do you think Ohio State struggled the way they did against Michigan? And do you see any significant adjustments they've made since then to get things turned around the way they have?
Sometimes it's not your day. And I think that was us today, right? It wasn't our day today, and it wasn't their day, against Michigan. But, what's unique about college football right now and this dynamic is you got to be playing your best ball at the end. And I think anybody that's watching Ohio State recognizes they're playing really good football.
Jeffrey, what were you seeing out of the Ohio State offense that was really just causing you guys some issues in the first half?
Yeah, overall, I think that they did a good job taking shots early on. Like Coach had said previously, they caught us in some coverages, where receivers were able to get open downfield, right? And then as well as their offensive line, I think that the offensive line, with the injuries that they had in their room and, a lot of moving parts and pieces, I think they did a good job, just up front as well. And then, of course, the quarterback, I think he did a good job, just getting the ball to his receivers, commanding his offense. So, yeah, they were just firing on all cylinders, and credits to them.
Obviously, you guys won the Big Ten title, and you had to face Ohio State in the first round. There's been a lot of talk about the CFP format and that changing, potentially changing going forward. What was your thought about the path that your team had, maybe compared to other teams?
We had an opportunity. We didn't take advantage of our opportunity. I'm not going to make excuses for our opportunity, right? And ultimately, you got to be great teams to be in position at the end of the year, and we didn't do that. This is the road that we had to travel, and they did it better than us tonight. So no complaints for us for having that opportunity. They just took advantage of it, and we didn't.
Great point by Coach Lanning at the end there. It's the opportunity. It's the opportunity to be in a Rose Bowl, an opportunity to win a Rose Bowl, opportunity to be in the college football playoff, opportunity to advance, and to do all of those things. No time that Oregon has ever been in the Rose Bowl has been an easy win, and no time that Oregon has been in the Rose Bowl has it been against an inferior or easy opponent. It's earned down the stretch. These are opportunities, and they're great opportunities to get after and compete and try to establish yourself as the best team in college football. Oregon did that for a majority of the season. Didn't happen that day on January 1st. It doesn't take away any of the merit from what the season was up until that point. Doesn't take away any of the legacy of what these players and these coaches have left this season, at least not for me. But it was an opportunity, and Oregon didn't capitalize upon that opportunity, and ultimately it ended up in a loss and the end of Oregon's season, a 41-21 drop in the Rose Bowl to Ohio State. We're continuing to break it down, hearing from some players post-game after this when we come back on Duck Inside on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
Back to the Country Financial Studios in 60 seconds. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
All right, son. Time to put out this campfire.
Dad, we learned about this in school.
Oh, did you now? Okay. What's first?
Smokey Bear said to.
First drown it with a bucket of water, then stir it with a shovel.
Wow, you sound just like him.
Then he said,
If it's still warm, then do it again.
Where can I learn all this?
It's all on SmokeyBear.com with other wildfire prevention tips, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and I dedicate a lot of my time going fast. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. Visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
You know you make me wanna kick my heels up and throw my hands up and throw my head back and come on now. Don't forget to say you will. Don't forget to say yeah.
Back here inside the Country Financial Studio on Duck Insider, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Ryan Milano here on a Monday after a 2-week break off of Duck Insider, breaking down everything that happened while we were away, including the Rose Bowl for Oregon. Big opportunity, one that Oregon didn't win, but one that sent off a lot of really stellar players for this Oregon program. And one of the stellar players offensively that has certainly left a legacy here at Oregon, the tight end, Terrence Ferguson. I mean, you look at the career that this guy has had throughout his time here at Oregon, where you'll see him at the top of almost every tight end record book that Oregon has to offer. Think about his journey throughout this year, where he starts the season, hasn't scored a touchdown, goes out with an appendix, comes back, and then finishes the year so strong, getting into the end zone, converting in opportune times. He might have been on the receiving end of the most pivotal play of the season on that 4th and 9 at the start of the fourth quarter against Wisconsin. So much legacy left by number 3, Terrence Ferguson, a big-time player for this Oregon program. After the game, after the Rose Bowl, some melancholy thoughts from Terrence Ferguson. Obviously, didn't step up to the opportunity, didn't get that win, but also a lot that Terrence and a lot of other players have left behind. But we're starting with the tight end postgame. Here is Terrence Ferguson.
Terrence, just tonight, thoughts on the result, obviously didn't go the way that you were hoping for.
Yeah, you know, Ohio State, shout out to them. They made a great game plan. They executed. They played better football than us, and they scored more points than us. And, you know, that's how the ball bounced today. So we didn't play our best football, but shout out to them. They played a great game.
It seemed like they were playing with extreme speed defensively. On the offensive side of things, how did you identify their defense? Did you feel like they were playing with speed? How did you try to counteract their speed that they had on the edges?
Yeah, they had great players across the board, great edges, great safeties, you know, and so for us, we game planned it, and we knew what they were going to come out in, and they out-executed us, honestly. Shout out to them, and hats off to them.
This game, does it define the season for you? 13-0 coming into tonight. Does this game define what you will think of as the 2024 season?
Yeah, no, I got a lot of memories with those guys, and we played a lot of good football together, and so I don't think it defines us. It's one game, and obviously it's the biggest one, and we wish we could have that back. But we played great football all year long, and the one game we needed it, we didn't play our best, and we faced an opponent that played their best football. So it doesn't define our season at all, no.
Talk about leaving Oregon a better place than you found it. You've been here for so long. You've been through it for so long. Just the memories of this place, and how do you feel like Oregon and this program is better now than when Terrence Ferguson first got here?
Yeah, Oregon's done so much for me. Coming in as a young kid, getting thrown in the fire early, playing football, and just becoming a better man, a better fiance, a better man of God, just in Oregon, a better football player. Oregon's done so much for me, so it made me a better person when I left there and when I'm leaving there. So I think I've done a good job of just being a leader and setting an example for some of the guys, especially in my room. There's some younger guys that I think are going to take over and do some special things, and there's a lot of talent in the team still. So I think we won a lot of games, and I think we definitely left it as a better place.
The connection in this locker room, can you tell us anything that was said post-game, and then just the memories you'll have with the guys and the connection you have with this team moving forward?
Yeah, it's just it was really just that Ohio State played a great game. We didn't play on our best football, but just that we left it all out there. We played our hardest football. We left everything we had out there. We were dog tired. We were running around trying to make stuff happen, and that team's connected. It's the most connected team I've ever been a part of as a family. All the guys coming up and wishing you the best for your next career, and it's just special to have a group of guys that tight, and it was people that you don't even know you impacted coming up and saying how much they appreciate you. So it's bittersweet.
Jumping back to this game just a little bit, without Evan, losing Jordan early, how much of an emphasis does that put on you guys to step up, and how does that make it more difficult for you to perform without having elite skill players out there like a Evan and a Jordan?
Yeah, obviously those guys are special. They're elite talents, and without those guys, it's a missing piece in our offense. But it's next man up, and we've done that before in the season, and we've had guys go down, and we've stepped up and played into those spots. Obviously, it puts more pressure when someone goes down, but we had a lot of guys step up and still make some plays today.
Obviously, Ohio State's offense was really clicking in the first half. You guys struggled a little bit. Just what about their defense coming out just made it hard to score?
Yeah, they outplayed us. Honestly, they out-schemed us. They had a lot of things set up, and they played better football. We knew a lot of what they were going to do, and they did do that, and they still just got after us, honestly.
Terrence Ferguson after the game, breaking it down. Appreciate Terrence being able to talk to us after the game and talk about that performance and his season and his career here at Oregon. We'll also talk with one of the leaders on the defensive side, Bryce Boettcher. And for me, someone who was so close to the baseball program here at Oregon, is so close to the baseball program here, getting to know Bryce on a real personal level last year. This is the type of guy who during rain delays last year would stand out at home plate and visualize at home plate. You talk about toughness, you talk about leadership, you talk about passion, you talk about what it means to be a Duck. I'm not sure anybody personifies it more than number 28 on whichever field you're talking about. And Bryce Boettcher, we got the chance to talk to him post-game. A really, really special career. A lot of pride from me for Bryce in his journey, and I'm sure a ton of pride for Bryce in his journey as well. Just getting to talk to him, getting his thoughts after the game. Really appreciate it from both Terrence and here, Bryce Boettcher.
Bryce, obviously not the way you wanted to end it, just your overall assessment of the game and how Ohio State attacked, especially in the first half.
Yeah, played good football and just beat us. They out-schemed us, won their one-on-one matchups more than we did, and when you get down that fast, that quick, it's hard to come back and win it. So credit to them.
What made their offense just so hard to stop in that first half, especially?
Yeah, we had a couple missed assignments, but like I said, they were just winning their one-on-one matchups against us, and they got hell of players and hell of some coaches. So, like I said, credit to them for doing what they did tonight.
Talking about rush lane discipline, how does Ohio State scheme to make it difficult to stay in those gaps, and how did they do that tonight to make those big explosive plays on the ground game?
Yeah, they created a lot of shifts and did a lot of motions. It's not they weren't running tempo, but when you have shifts and motions and they line up quick, it acts like tempo. Your gap's constantly changing when you get those motions and post-snap, relay receivers and tight ends. So, like I said, credit to them. They did good.
This game for you, does it define this season for you, and your takeaways from this football season, what will they be?
Yeah, a little bit. I'm a competitor, and you play for the postseason, so this is one that's going to bug me for a long time. I don't want to have a takeaway from the entire season. I think we definitely won a lot of games and did some really good things, and developed a really good culture here at Oregon. So I don't want to take away from that, but this one's going to bug me for a while.
The connection here, the connection in that locker room. Can you tell us a little bit about what was said, and then just your memories of what this team's going to mean to you now moving forward?
Yeah, it's later down the road. Obviously I'm still pretty young, but I feel like I'm mature enough to realize that those relationships in the locker room and what you do every single day at practice and off the field with your guys, that's what you're going to remember. Sure, we'll remember some games and some plays, but for the most part, it's 20 years from now, it's going to be hitting a guy up that you haven't seen in 10 plus years and just reconnecting. And in life, I think that's the most important part is connection. So what we've developed and throughout the season and on this team has been pretty special.
How much of it is a shock to the system, I guess, after doing what you guys did this year, what you accomplished, not only losing but coming out 34-0?
Yeah, it's quite the shock to say the least. It's disappointing, and I was telling Ryan, it's going to stick with me for a while. That's credit to them. They out-schemed us, outplayed us in every aspect of the game, and like I said, as a competitor, I don't want to discredit what we've done this season, but you play for the postseason, and this one pisses me off a little bit.
Yeah. When you go down early, when you go down 34-0, it's 34-8 at halftime. What is the halftime message? How do you come out, and especially with the offense that then went on a little bit of a spark? Just what is that messaging after the game starts like that?
You have to stay positive. You got to do like I said, you got to do your best to stay positive. You can't get all down because what they put up in the first half, we were capable to put up in the second half. You have to believe it. If you believe it, it will happen. But obviously, with a team like that going down that much in the first half, it's almost impossible to come back after that. Gave it our best shot, and unfortunately, it wasn't enough.
Is it worth even thinking on your part about their motivation? They were so bad against Michigan. Their coach was in trouble. Is that something you even care about? That might be their motivation coming out of this?
No, I don't. Whatever they did to motivate their side, they did a good job because they kicked the crap out of us. But it is what it is.
How much did them dropping 8? Because they played man in the first meeting. How much did them dropping 8 kind of change your guys' game plan?
I couldn't tell you how much it changed our game plan, but obviously them doing that, was good for them because it harmed us.
You got a lot of decisions to make. I know that they put in a waiver. Have you heard anything from that waiver? And is this loss enough to maybe make you this not be your last game as a Duck?
I'll definitely consider it. Definitely have a lot of unfinished business here at Oregon, but I don't have final details yet, so I'll get with you once I figure that out.
What would you tell anyone about the playoff experience? Because it's almost a different season. You guys had that long layoff. Did that figure any of that into this?
No. It's sure you can come up with excuse. Maybe we're a little, didn't play for 3 weeks or whatever you want to say. But I don't see it like that. I think the best team won tonight and they beat us fair and square. So.
Bryce Boettcher, post-game after the Rose Bowl. Obviously a lot of emotions to sort through, especially right after the game, but a mature Bryce Boettcher and Terrence Ferguson as well, giving their answers and talking about the game and what this team is going to mean for them moving forward, because that's really what this team is about. It's the 4 connection traits for the Ducks, and connection more than anything. I think so important with this group. It's been clear being around this building, seeing it every single day. It's an emotional loss. It's a loss that stings. There's no way around it. You heard Bryce say it. You play for the postseason, and Ducks didn't get the win in the game, and that stings. It does. But to me, I don't think it takes away from the 13 wins that came before it and the Big Ten championship that came before it for Oregon. Still to come later in the week, we heard from Kobe Savage postgame, Jabbar Muhammad postgame. We'll have that for you on the show as we move forward throughout the week. But for now, we're going to transition to basketball because it's hoop season now in Matheny Arena, and Both the Ducks on the men's and women's side have been playing some stiff competition and been playing some pretty darn good ball themselves. Oregon men's basketball yesterday got a big, necessary win over Maryland. We'll break it down when we return on Duck Inside on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Hey Duck fans, at Country Financial, they make insurance easy. Whether you're shopping for home, auto, or more, their representatives will take the time to understand your specific needs and explain what options work best for you. Worry less and feel more confident knowing you're covered. Visit countryfinancial.com to get started today. Experience more with Country Financial. Auto and home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, and Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
Duck Insider continues from the Country Financial Studios in 1 minute on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Kids ask their parents a lot of questions.
Why can't people fly?
Gravity.
Is the moon really made of cheese?
Yep, cream cheese.
When can I move into a big kid's car seat?
For some questions, parents may not have the answer, but that's okay. They can't know everything, but knowing the right seat for their age and size will help protect them in a car crash. Find out more at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat.
Where do babies come from?
Good luck, Dad. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys, I love this song. I love these nachos. I love our kickball league. Ugh! I love this guy. What's your name? You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
Back here inside the Country Financial Studio, it's Duck Insider, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Ryan Milano with you on the first show of the 2025 calendar year, but the athletic year obviously in full swing because we just broke down the Oregon loss in the Rose Bowl. We'll still have more Rose Bowl content coming throughout the remainder of the week, but most of the week's going to be focused on hoops because we are in the thick of basketball season, and I'm not sure if anybody's paying attention, but we got two pretty darn good basketball teams at Matthew Knight Arena on the men's and the women's side, and both are coming off really stellar victories. For the women, it was a big win 2 days ago against Wisconsin, a 68-52 victory for the women of Oregon. We will break down more of that on the show tomorrow. Today, we're going to break down a lot of the men's basketball victory against Maryland yesterday, an 83-79 win for Oregon. And I got to tell you, this was a necessary win for Oregon early in the season with the context of everything going around, new to the conference, a chance to get to 2-2 in conference play as opposed to 1-3, a chance to avenge what was a bad loss earlier in the week against Illinois on January 2nd, where Oregon, apparently the basket was this big for Illinois. They made about every shot after the first media timeout, and Oregon just, frankly, couldn't stop the Illini earlier in the week. And it got to gut check time against Maryland. It was a double-digit lead early for the Terrapins and a strong Maryland Terrapin team. Coming into the week, Oregon, Illinois, Maryland were back-to-back-to-back just outside the top 10 in the net, 11, 12, and 13 in the net. This was a tough quad one battle inside of Matthew Knight Arena all season long. By the way, it'll be that way for the entire season. The Big Ten in both men's and women's hoops is a really good conference. But for the Ducks, It was either go 1-3 to start off conference or get your first home conference win and go 2-2 to start off Big Ten play against a really talented Maryland team that got out to a big lead. Jackson Shelstad had a whole lot to say about it. He made some big-time shots. 23 points for Shelstad, 5 rebounds, 2 assists as well. We'll hear from Jackson Shelstad as well as Nate Biddle coming up later in the program. Dana Altman, his reaction after the loss to Illinois and coming into this game against Maryland. What was the mindset? What clicked for the team? And how was Oregon able to withstand a strong Terrapin basketball team down the stretch to get a gritty 4.83-79 victory at Matthew Knight Arena? We're hearing from Coach Altman, his post-game reactions.
Drives down to Roseburg in the last 48 hours, or was that just...
No, just long 2 days, though, that's for sure. So just proud of the guys for bouncing back. Then we got down early, and they could have gave into it, and thought they did a good job staying with it and finding a way to win a game.
You're down 13 early like that again. How did this team regroup and not give in to the, like you said, give in to the...
Well, we hit some big shots, just hit enough shots to stay in it. And then we kind of got our heads above water a little bit and got it close at half, and then came out and really started well the second half. Got a few stops and hit some shots and got the energy level going a little bit. Ran into a little bit of a drought there where just took a couple quick shots and didn't make them guard as long as I wanted to. But we out-rebounded them, which was, you get beat 12 one night, you're +2 the next. That's huge. Turnovers only 9, so we won the points off turnovers, which is always a big key. Second chance points were tied, or we 15-14, we won 1 there. So we just needed to get things even. The other night we lost every category. We lost points off turnovers, we got killed on the boards. There wasn't one category we won. At least we got some of those things turned around.
Was there any point in the first few minutes tonight where you were like, whatever your message has been the last couple of days, it didn't get through?
Oh, I didn't think we'd start real good. We took that punch the other night, and we just haven't been beat like that. And, the thing I was most disappointed, it was a 12-point game the other night with 11, 12 minutes to go. And that's where you man up, you figure out a way. And we gave into it. And you watch the film, and just easy baskets, our body language was bad. So that's what I was most disappointed in. Win or lose, you don't give into it. And I thought we really did. And so last couple of days, you either flush it, let it go, or get after them. And we decided to get after them. It would have been different if we'd have played really hard and just couldn't hit a shot or whatever. But our percentages the other night were good enough. We scored 77 points. We shoot 43%. We hit a few threes. It wasn't like we just didn't hit anything. We just got our tails kicked. We didn't board. We didn't, got out physical, everything. And I just thought we did a much better job tonight.
What experience tells you that sometimes after a performance like that, it'll carry over a little bit into the next game?
Yeah. No. I told them right after the game, I said, okay, fellas, we're going to have to address this, but we can't let one loss lead to 2, especially not at home. And so, you got to talk. I think you got to talk about things like that. Our guys are experienced enough. It's not like they're a bunch of freshmen. They got to figure some things out. And, we shot the ball much better. We shoot 51 for the game, 42 from 3, 86 from the line. You should win at home. Really happy for him. He'd been struggling shooting it, but he works at it, and he's been shooting it okay in practice, but the games have him fall, and players go through stretches, and it's been a long stretch for him. And what I was most pleased, though, I know he hits baskets. He guarded much better tonight. then he didn't set a tone the other night, and I got after him about that. And I let him off the hook so much last year, especially after Key went down. We just, we didn't have the ball handling, and, he didn't improve defensively, and that was my fault. And then, this year I'm asking him to do a lot more things as a sophomore and experienced player, and he had a little trouble adjusting. And but man, like I said, the last 2 days I challenged him, and not only was he better offensively, but his defense I thought was much better. And also, 5 rebounds. Key went and got 4. We had 9 rebounds from those 2 guards. I thought they came back and got some balls.
What did you like about Keyshawn starting the second half and 5 quick points with that move?
No, TJ was struggling a little bit. I just wanted to change it up a little bit. Thought Key played good, and I thought his defensive activity was good. And so, like I said, I just wanted to change it up a little bit.
Just thoughts on the overall defense tonight. I know they shot pretty well for Maryland tonight, but felt like there were stretches where last game wasn't there. Tonight it was.
Absolutely. Our second half, 37%, 4 for 9 from 3. They hit some threes, but I thought it was better. Obviously, the point production, they went from 45 to 34. 34 is, holding them under 70 where we want to be. So our second half obviously was better than our first. And like I said, I thought Nate's blocks were the difference in the game. I really do. I just thought that, the one for sure with the 2 hands, and then the one with the dunk. I thought he challenged shots, and we got to have that. I thought Brandon should have challenged a couple, and Supreme. We're not challenging enough shots. The officials are doing a great job of not calling a foul if you go straight up with 2 hands. That's the one call they're really consistent with, I think. And we try to teach it, but we got to get more guys comfortable doing it.
Anything that freed up Jackson in a different way?
No, we didn't tell him anything different offensively. He just hit a couple early shots, and the basket got bigger. But no, there was no adjustment offensively. We didn't run anything more for him. We didn't talk to him anymore about, like I said, the only thing I talked to him about the last 2 days was his defense. I didn't mention one thing about his offense. I think that'll come if you just keep practicing and keep working. Eventually something will click. And so, I've been fortunate. I've had some really good shooters, and they all go through a stretch somewhere.
I know that no one ever wants to go through a loss like you guys did on Thursday. Do you feel like in some ways you guys maybe needed a little bit of a wake-up call, considering you only had 1 loss, obviously, up until that point?
I don't think we needed that big of a wake-up call. So,
does the energy change at all when Biddle's connecting from deep?
Well, it spreads the defense a little bit more. He was 2 for 5, which is good. It spreads the floor a little bit. So, and he likes it. Half his shots again were from 3, so you know where he wants to go. So, but no, he can shoot him. He shot him well in practice. His percentage in a game hadn't been, what we want, but I thought his looks were good tonight, and just got to take good ones. KJ took a quick one there in the corner that, we just didn't need, but I thought for the most part our shot selection was decent.
Thoughts on KJ's impact the last couple games and 7 rebounds tonight, and what he's giving you off the bench?
No, like I said, last game and this game, you take away the turnovers. He had 3 the other night, 2 tonight. He's played better. He's played more physical. Played with a little air about him. I thought the last 2 games. I'll even go back further than that. He's had, I thought he played good at Stanford. So I think he's had a 4 or 5 game stretch here where he's played okay. He's playing better, playing more physical, and playing with a little better base, so he's not getting knocked off his base so easy. Got a big offensive rebound put back there that we desperately needed. So, no, I think he's playing good.
One more in the back. You getting ready to go on the road. Can you talk a little bit about the challenges and the promise of this new league you're in going forward?
Well, we're excited about it. Personally, I've never coached a game at Ohio State or Penn State, so excited about that. I think the players are excited about it. Fortunately, we've gotten great support from the university for our travel and that. So, hey, you know, it's a longer trip, but, you know, I'm used to old van trips from junior college and bus trips from being a bad player, so it doesn't bother me. And I don't think it'll bother the guys. I mean, yeah, they're young. I mean, and, okay, so we played 2 this week. Next week we're home. You know, we don't play for a full week. Then we go for another. I mean, it's not like they're killing us, you know. And, you know, these guys only got to come west once, you know, so it's not killing them. So I'm not going to blow it out of proportion. I told our guys just a little longer flight than what we're used to. You know, we fly down to Arizona. That's 2.5 hours, whatever. You know, we're just adding another hour to it. You know, I mean, it's not that big a deal. And we just, hey, you got to take care of ourselves. You got to get sleep. You got to eat right. You got to stay hydrated. And you do those things, and it's just a little longer flight. But, you know, no excuses. You know, if we don't play well at Ohio State or we don't play well at Penn State, it's not because of the travel. It's because we didn't take care of ourselves and we didn't get prepared. And, you know, I told our players I don't want to hear one thing ever about, oh, we had a long trip. No big deal. You guys all have aspirations of playing in the NBA. You all have aspirations of playing pro ball somewhere. You think they're not going to travel? You're going to get on a plane and fly cross country? You know, it's part of the deal. So, and, you know, we had to make the move to the Big Ten. I'm going to miss the Pac-12 because I enjoyed the conference, but, you know, this is a move the school had to make, and, you know, we just got to fight through it. And it, like I said, I don't think it's that big a deal. We just can't make it a big deal.
Coach Altman, his reactions after a big win against Maryland. 2 big-time Oregonians made huge impacts. We're getting to Jackson Shellstad, Nate Biddle, their post-game thoughts when we return on Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Jan from Toyota here, live with some big news. Toyotathon is on. Okay, now back to your regularly scheduled programming.
Dealer inventory may vary. Toyotathon ends January 6th. Participating dealers only. Toyota, let's go places.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Jan from Toyota here, live with some big news. Toyotathon is on. Okay, now back to your regularly scheduled programming.
Dealer inventory may vary. Toyotathon ends January 6th. Participating dealers only. Toyota, let's go places.
More Duck Insider from the Country Financial Studios after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
I'll trust water bottles and a flashlight to save the day, but I'll be proved wrong.
With a tornado approaching, I'll realize that I lack a wheelchair-accessible shelter.
When the floodwaters rise, I'll be up in the attic with 20 cans of beans. It's a recipe for disaster.
Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Back in the Country Financial Studio on Duck Insider, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Ryan Milano with you, recapping what was a win last night for Oregon men's basketball over Maryland. Two big Oregonians making a strong impact. Nate Biddle, big game for him, 16 points, as well as 6 rebounds. Jackson Shellstad, 23 points, 8 of 10 from the field, 5 of 5 from 3. The first Oregon player to go perfect from deep while shooting 5 or more attempts since Tyler Dorsey did it in 2017. Their reactions after a big win. Post-game, Nate Biddle, Jackson Shellstad.
Jackson, when you were down in the first half there, 13, I think you scored 8 or 11 of the next 13 points. Just what was going through your mind at that moment? Why did you take over the game the way you did?
I mean, yeah, I got a couple of threes down, and I just kind of blacked out, got in the zone right there, and just started pulling it. I believe in my work. I haven't been shooting it as well as I've wanted to this season, but I just try to keep trusting my shot and putting in the work. And today I just got hot and just trusted my shot. My teammates did a good job finding me, and I was just going in today as one of those days.
How would you describe this process of regrouping the other night and putting together a performance like this?
We knew what we had to do. We just got whooped the other night, and we knew coming out that this was a good team. They were ahead of us in the net and stuff like that, and this is another game that we can show what type of team we can be, and forget about the last game and just coming out and forgetting about the past and just looking forward, and the guys did a good job of that.
Defense was kind of a key issue in the last game, kind of the early part, but in the start of the second half, you guys really clamped down and felt like that made a difference. What did you guys kind of talk about at halftime where you feel like you had to make an adjustment?
We just said we had to guard. There were too many easy buckets that we gave up in the first half. Communication errors, stuff like that, and we just talked that through at halftime and came out in the second half knowing that we had to execute our defense, and Blue helped us a lot, our zone.
Jackson, you guys played so many close games early in the season. How did that experience help you going into today?
I think it really helped. We've been battle tested in a lot of big games, and every conference game is probably going to come down to a couple plays. Everybody's good in this conference, so we got to be prepared for that. And we got tested early in the season, so we should be ready for those kind of games.
You guys fell behind 13, 10 minutes into the game. How did you guys keep the emotions in check and come back from that?
For me personally, I try to tell the team, bro, we've been here before. We were there against Alabama, against A&M, type of teams, and they're not any better than them teams, and we just know that as we gradually get back, we just got a couple points at a time, a couple stops at a time, and I think that our team has realized that, and we do a good job of just kind of a couple plays at a time, and we're going to be right back.
Was there any fear amongst you guys, hey, kind of here we go again after the other night?
No.
I don't think so. We've been in a lot of these games, and we've came back from more than that. So we just trust in each other, trust what our coaches are saying, and 40-minute fight like Coach Altman says every game. So just keep throwing our punches. We knew we were going to go on a run, got things together defensively. So yeah.
Jackson Shellstad, Nate Biddle breaking down a win for Oregon men's basketball against Maryland. Big time, 83-79 victory for the Ducks. There's a whole lot more action that we still have to break down. We're going to get to all of it when we return on Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey, Duck fans, at Country Financial, they make insurance easy. Whether you're shopping for home, auto, or more, their representatives will take the time to understand your specific needs and explain what options work best for you. Worry less and feel more confident knowing you're covered. Visit countryfinancial.com to get started today. Experience more with Country Financial. Auto and home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, and Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
More Duck Insider coming up on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Comes to a gun suicide attempt, all it takes is a moment.
My son, Ricky, took his life by the use of a firearm. It broke me, and I contemplated suicide. My grandson, I was gonna have to be here for him. I still own my firearm. I keep it in a safe because I want to keep my grandson and myself safe.
Store your guns, locked, unloaded, and away from ammo. Hear more safe stories at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by Brady and the Ad Council.
This message is for Shauna, my mom who just finished her high school diploma. I wanted to say I'm so proud of you for finishing school. You taught me it's never too late to achieve your dreams. I hope to make you as proud as you have made me.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Back inside the Country Financial Studio, it's Duck Insider, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Closing out the show after a long break, a 2-week break off, and a lot happened during that 2-week break. We got to hear today from head coaches Dan Lanning, Dana Altman, after games for their teams to start off the 2025 year. Both those interviews brought to you by the Willamette Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center, better cancer care close to home. Also got to hear from some football players, Dylan Gabriel, Jeffrey Bossa, Terrence Ferguson, Bryce Boettcher, as well as some basketball players as well. Nate Biddle, Jackson Shellstad, after the Ducks men's team got a big win over Maryland, 83-79 yesterday. We will break down the women's basketball win over Wisconsin at Matthew Knight Arena that happened on Saturday, a 68-52 victory for the Ducks. That we will talk about on the show tomorrow. We'll hear from Coach KG, we'll hear from some players as well, and break down all what's going on in women's basketball, as well as the athletic director, Rob Mullins, in studio. We'll talk to him about everything that's gone down throughout the December, early January period around this athletic department. Also hearing later in the week some more players post Rose Bowl, as well as Coach Mike Menega, Jody Berry on the women's basketball staff, Nani Falatea. Whole lot going on the shows. Most of all, go Ducks, everybody.
You said you'd never buy your kid candy from the checkout aisle, or forget extra diapers. You'd never lick your thumb to clean their face. Never, ever become a minivan mom. So when you say you'd never leave your child in a hot car, know it can happen. Cars get hot fast.